It's a Channel 6 special in downtown Joliet. I'm Richard Fedrickson, and what a great night we have in store for you. We are on the balcony of Juliet's up on the second floor. Folks are in the back enjoying before we go inside for the program. And I just want to read a couple of things to you because it has everything to do with what's happening here tonight. Cities are, if you've noticed, if you've traveled and do any vacations, cities are necessarily focusing on the arts, which we're going to do tonight, culture and entertainment. Entertainment going across the street right now at the Forge, revitalizing the downtown with the opening of the Illinois Rock and Roll Museum and other new businesses that are here in downtown Joliet. And how does art work with the city of Joliet? Well, it works with museums to promote cultural tourism, developing communities' arts facilities, using public art to shape the streetscape, and creating an art district. Arts district will happen here in Joliet. Building artists' lofts to spur downtown revitalization and developing urban cultural parks and so much more. So let's go inside and see what's happening. Well, we're in downtown Joliet, and we're about to reveal what's going on in downtown Joliet, second floor of Juliet's. I have with me right now the Vice President of the Art Movement Incorporated, none other than Eryn Blaser, and she knows what's going on. Hi, Eryn.
Hi, how are you? Good. Well, welcome. This is incredible. The crowd behind us and what's going on. And so tonight, this is a huge event, a great event. It's kind of a collaboration of many different organizations coming together. But first and foremost, it's the artists. The artists that these 5 pieces that are behind us here want to send a huge shout out and thank you for sharing their creative talents with us all. And tonight the raffle will be kickstarting off. These pieces, they were commissioned and now the raffle will begin, and this is kind of a partnership and collaboration between the City Center Partnership, the Art Movement Inc., and then as well as in the end for the Arts Commission here in Joliet.
And on the screen, I'll show you how you can contribute, how you can get involved in the raffle. There'll be more of that information coming up during some of our other interviews here in downtown Joliet at the fabulous Juliet's. You know, it's been a long time in the planning stages. It's been a long time in the view and the vision of Joliet, but now there actually is an art commission, and you're vice president of that commission. We're talking with none other than Quinn Adamowski, and you see Quinn everywhere here in Joliet. We appreciate and thank you for what you do in the community. But tonight, in Juliet's second floor, we got a packed house, and the art commission actually came before the art movement, I believe, and that kind of came out of that art commission. So tell me about the art commission. When did that start?
So the Arts Commission started in 2019. It was a year-long effort. We worked with Steve Jones, who was the acting city manager at the time, to write an ordinance. We looked at other communities were doing, and we learned that out of the 10 largest cities in Illinois, Joliet was the only one without an Arts Commission. So we formed a small group, a working group, after the ordinance was written. And we talked with city council people. We went to public meetings. We advocated for it, and the city council voted unanimously to support it. And obviously, that was in September of 2019 is when we started, and then the pandemic. So we did the best we could as a governmental body through the pandemic. But this year, you know, as the pandemic was waning, we really started hitting it hard, formed our subcommittees in such a way that they're doing the real work right now. And it's just an extraordinary time to be in a governmental body about arts in Joliet.
You know, the art in Joliet always has been here, but sort of undercover. I mean, we've had in the past, we've had art shows. If you travel around, I believe the city of Joliet has won or has been recognized for their artwork, mostly because of the sculptures that are around the entire city of Joliet. And that, I believe, was put forth by the Friends of
Community Public Art.
Community Public Art, which I think a few of those folks are here tonight as well. Now, what's the future? What's going to happen?
Well, our hope is that the Arts Commission works with the Art Movement, which is a nonprofit of a collective of artists, and we want to work with institutions downtown and throughout the city that are looking to revitalize things, push things forward in terms of economic development, create some vibrancy. And so that's the City Center Partnership, that's the museum, it's the library, it's institutions and organizations like that, even our school districts. We want to try to create some collaboration between everybody and put Joliet on the map regarding art. We have a lot of really super talented people here, and the people who are involved in the art scene, so to speak, we all have our roles, right? I'm not an artist, but I like the administrative side of things, so I serve on the Arts Commission. Some of the artists don't like administrative work, so they work on the art movement, right? So we have this collective of people in Joliet working together in unison to create an opportunity for residents who are here and to create an opportunity to attract new residents and investors and whoever else wants to celebrate Joliet and its rich industrial heritage.
We opened the door to some extent with some of our artists that were in business here in downtown Joliet. Sue Regis, who I just saw earlier, we hope to get her back on here and with her great glass art that she has. And then the strange and unusual gallery that opened up, I believe, in 2019 also, and is now fully reopened with, I think, and we'll find out later, a whole new show that's going to continue on into the fall. So is there anything else I'm forgetting to share with the folks here?
Well, actually, we do have another art makerspace / gallery that just opened called Soul Artistic Solutions. And that's right around the corner from Chicago Street. And she has people coming in and doing painting parties, just bringing people in and giving them the opportunity to engage in art in a different way. So I think that with the Strange and Unusual Gallery opening, I think with that opening, we already had Sue's business down here. We have these institutions working. And I believe that the more that people come down and engage, we will see other businesses pop up, and we're going to see other people come out and say, hey, Joliet has all these people. I want to be part of this. I want to work with everybody and try to make downtown specifically, a destination. And Joliet generally a place where everybody knows it's a vibrant, quality of life is high, and that's where they want to live. So that's the goal.
It can happen. And I believe it's Tapley who is the artist on the 4th floor of the Crystal Room, and painting parties, and she's a teacher in Bolingbrook and a great lady, and maybe she's here tonight. We'll find out. We're going to continue with our interviews here at the Art Movement Art Reception at Juliet's. Well, we continue with our meeting people who you should know. I mean, that's the name of the show. People you should know. I think that's already taken from somebody. Erick Deshaun is Dorris. Erick Dorris is here with us today. He is president of the Art Commission that Quinn Adamowski was talking about, and he kind of explained to us what the Art Commission is doing, but he didn't get into the details of the auction.
Yes.
Just tell us a little bit about the auction, how folks can contribute, get involved, and support our artists, and looking into the future.
Yeah, the auction tonight is actually being run by the Joliet Art Movement. We have little QR codes here that everyone can scan and get to the auction site. If not, you can actually get to it through 2 Facebook pages. You can go to the City Center Partnership Facebook page and access the auction, or you can go to the Art Movement Facebook page and access the auction as well.
Now, Erick, are you an artist?
I used to be. I actually went into arts administration around 2015. So my goal now is to support other artists and make sure their voices are heard and that people have the resources they need to be creative and share their voice with our community.
You served a role tonight, and you're going to continue doing it because everybody wants to talk to you. So I am going to ask you, who are some of the people who are here tonight?
We have all or most of our arts commissioners who sit on the Joliet Arts Commission. The board of the art movement is here. We have many members of the board from the City Center Partnership. Mayor Bob Oderkirk is here. We'll be speaking tonight. We have other members of the City Council that are here. But we also have a number of artists and creatives from the city, including the 5 artists whose pieces are being displayed tonight. There's artists, visual artists, painters, dancers, and singers from across Joliet who are gathering here to celebrate this wonderful unveiling.
What's going to happen with those art pieces, which we're going to take a look at in just a minute?
They're actually going to go on public display around the city center. So we are very excited to have people who are downtown to be interacting with these pieces and looking at them. And hopefully it starts a conversation about Joliet and our history and where we're going moving forward.
Erick, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we'll talk. We'll meet you back there in the crowd here in just a minute.
I'll
we got
be
a
there.
packed house tonight. Wish you were here. Art is going to be the focus for 2021 and then. We talked about Sue Regis 2 interviews ago about the fact that art is alive and well here in Joliet and is going to get even better because what's behind us here are artists, people who are lovers of art and supporters of the Art Movement Incorporated, and also under the guidance of the Joliet Art Commission. And you are on the board of both of those, and you happen to be, here's the big secret now, Sue Regis is the founder of the Art Movement, correct?
I am the founder of the Art Movement, Inc., yes.
And a couple years ago, on a day that was just as hot as it is today, but it was at the old prison under a tent, there was another group that you were also involved in.
The old Joliet Prison Burnt District artists.
And are they still alive and well?
Yeah, we're still at it. We'll be out there at the Big Bash. A small group of us will be out there on August 7th at the prison, and we'll be doing some live art, and some of the artists will be selling some stuff.
We're going to do a little 30-second, 60-second commercial for Sue because she's good enough to wade her way through this crowd. Tell us a little bit about your business here in downtown Joliet.
I'm the owner of Sue Regis Glass Art. I'm a flame-working glass studio.
And so much more. And so much more. Sue, thank you for all that you do. Thank you for being here. You got that $1 million smile. And Sue Regis, you're going to hear that name and hear that name again and again. Every time we have a reception like this, Sue Regis was the one who got it all started. Thank you, Sue.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Richard.
Joe Clement is with me right now as he's angled his way through the crowd, and we have more artists coming up. But I thought I would get an impression of a city councilman going to his very first, I believe, art reception.
This is my first one. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, I got the invite. Very impressed. I mean, the art museum or everything over there looks phenomenal. I got to tell you, I'm glad to be here. I know I talked to Quinn Adamowski. He was thinking like 50 people. There's well over 100 people here, well over. And great to see everybody from all over. I know there's people from Chicago, and obviously Joliet, a lot of people from the community, so I'm glad to be here. So
I think about 90% of the people are artists or people who are going to be buying art. And we have a raffle that we've been talking about. We'll do more of that in a little bit. But isn't this exciting? Because you read in the magazines, you read in the Tribune, you read in the Wall Street Journal that so many of these cities and towns and villages, an aspect of their success is what's happening with the culture of art.
yeah, the culture art. I know the city council. I don't want to speak on behalf of all of them, but I know I support them. This is just a very exciting day. And, hey, we're here at Juliet's. I'm glad that they're open, and we're upstairs here. Everything's beautiful here, and like I said, I support these guys, and nice artwork, and I'm glad to be here. So.
And I did hear you mention the Illinois Rock and Roll Museum at the City Council last week or 2 weeks ago. And, you know, what's going to happen with that in the Hall of Fame on August 31st, a concert on August 7th at the prison, which the art movement is going to be involved in, Sue Regis and company, and so many things happening in Joliet on the positive side, on the successful side. So you hang on, because Joliet's going places, and you could come with. Joe, thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Have a good night. Thank you. You too. Okay. Thanks.
You know, making her way through the crowd here, Angelica Aquilar. You are so impactful. Your art is unbelievable. We're going to take a look at it right now. We take a good close-up look. It was in the office next to my office at the City Center Partnership, and everybody's walking up the hall. What is that? What is that? You know how people like to touch things?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if an artist you like.
I promote it.
They're touching the coal cars or So tell me a little bit about your piece of art that we can show, and as we're showing it, you can tell us what it is.
Absolutely. I have the mine piece in there. I made it from scratch. I used a wooden frame and put chicken wire, put mortar, cheesecloth, and kept building it up with some limestone. It's about 150 pounds, very heavy. And I put working lights in there also to kind of show the real carts. I bent all the wire myself. The carts are made of clay. I hand painted everything and polished it, cut it, ground it down.
You must be very proud, and you should be.
I am very proud. Yeah. Yeah.
I wish you well, and you'll be able to, in the auction, we'll talk more about that. I think they'll talk about it when they give the speeches about how you can participate, how you can support art here in Joliet and the Will County area. So don't go away. Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I picked him out of the crowd because he's got the black shirt on. And it's 95 degrees outside, so he's happy to be in here at Juliet's. What a great job. What a great piece of art you have. We're going to show that right now, and you explain to the folks what it is.
Oh, lovely. Well, pleasure. Thank you so much for coming. My name is Roho Garcia, and the sculpture is designed out of what I call the alpha stroke, and represents positivity and productivity. Now, the portraits that are painted on there, pretty much an individual, an older gentleman that represents old Joliet, and a woman welder who signifies the strength and the beauty of the bridges and of the architecture here in Joliet. And on the other side are hands holding each other, representing community and the strength of the community of Joliet.
Well, you'll see it. I hope you're looking at it right now. Now, where are you from? Where are you from? Are you from Joliet?
Yes, sir. Yes, born and raised here in Joliet. Mm-hmm.
Well, how'd you get into art? Is this a gift you had as a little kid, or?
Let's see. I started into art with the hip-hop movement, so I was into breakdancing and graffiti. And graffiti was my outlet, introduction into fine art. And so worked as a fine artist early on, and then went to American Academy of Art in Chicago, and just tried my best to promote artistry and promote other artists, because us artists got to stick together. And I'm very happy that that's what's going on right here at the CP.
Particularly here in Joliet.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Yes.
Now, let me ask you something. As a graffiti artist, does that transition into a muralist?
Absolutely, that's what I teach. And so I literally just completed a mural at Louis Barbershop this past weekend, and it's a pretty large-scale mural piece. And I've done a few murals around the city of Chicago and in St. Louis. But that is what I teach in Chicago, fundamentals of art and design and muralism. And so that transition from graffiti to muralism is an easy one. You're working with large scale, and you're working with vibrant colors.
Now, where is Louis Barbershop?
Louis Barbershop is on Route 30. It's actually not too far from Route 30 and Black Road.
I did see it. I know where that's at.
Oh, okay.
I know where that's at. Now, The other thing that there's an artist, I don't know who it is, but if you've been to the Spanish Center in Joliet recently,
Yes.
have you seen those murals?
Yes, I'm one of the 3 artists that are
you?
currently working on that. Yes, Hilario Silva, Sunrise, he's the lead artist, as well as Static, he's a graffiti writer from Chicago, and I'm the 3rd artist working currently on it.
Well, that I saw because I was at the Spanish Center last night, and I said, wow, because I guess I haven't been there since 2019. With this pandemic business. I said, now that is impressive. So congratulations.
Thank you so
Stick
much.
around here. Don't forget Joliet now. Don't go off to Chicago and leave us.
No, not at all. Hometown right here. Very proud.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Take care.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Megan Millen. My day job is Executive Director of Joliet Public Library. It was the Ukrainian businessman Viktor Pinhuk who said, "Art, freedom, and creativity will transform society faster than politics will." The growing Joliet arts community has united several organizations in a collaborative effort to raise funds for the Joliet Arts Commission, and at the same time showcase 5 of the area's most talented artists. As chair of City Center Partnership, the fiscal sponsor of this project, and secretary of the Arts Commission, which is the recipient, I'm in a uniquely qualified position to welcome you all to this unveiling. There's an element that is common to the great cities of the world. Alongside bustling shops, restaurants, bars, and businesses, there's always rich, vibrant artwork. From the earliest communities who created cave art in France and Indonesia, to the street art found in the modern cities today, public art reflects the values and the culture of the places where they are found. Sculptures and murals, interesting lighting, landscape architecture, memorials, chalk art, and more transform a rough urban landscape into a delightful and thought-provoking canvas. Public art, unlike art inside museums and galleries, creates a collaborative experience and unites a community. It creates a unique sense of place and enhances the quality of life for residents and visitors. Public art may not always be objectively attractive, but touches each observer in its own subjective way. By commissioning 5 pieces of public art to display and ultimately raffle off, City Center Partnership, the Joliet Arts Commission, and the Art Movement Inc. have come together to bring public art to downtown Joliet. By choosing the theme Joliet's Heritage, we have sought to define the cultural identity of our community, our roots, and our values. These 5 inspiring pieces, all vastly different, each represent a unique interpretation and aspect of Joliet's colorful history. City Center Partnership has an overarching goal of revitalizing and reinvigorating Joliet's downtown. It is my strong belief that the arts community is vital to this effort, and it has been my great pleasure to be part of this art raffle on so many different levels. Thank you for supporting the arts by coming here tonight, so many of you. Please enjoy the evening. At this time, I'd like to introduce Rod Tonelli, who is a board member of City Center Partnership and its current interim director. Rod?
Thank you, Megan. So just to build off of what Megan said, when we think about our mission at City Center Partnership of leading the revitalization of downtown Joliet, it has and will always contain a component which is the arts. And this is so exciting to see the group that's gathered here today. I'm blown away by the collection of people here, from community leaders and artists and elected officials. What an incredible moment that we're able to spark here today. So this is just a monumental step forward in continuing the arts movement in downtown, which is, again, a critical strategic component of how we move downtown Joliet forward. And City Center Partnership is happy to sponsor this fiscally, and hopefully we'll have the most incredible output from this. Please buy raffle tickets. And that's the key, right? We're trying to raise funds. And that's all I want to add. So I now get to introduce Mayor Bob Odenkirk.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for coming out. I don't know how well you can hear in the back, so I'll try to project. Thank you. It's great to see so many people coming to downtown Joliet and coming out to support this great event. Thank you to the local artists who created these items that are going to be raffled, and thank you for your support. You know, we saw a few years ago at the prison when we went back in and what local artists were able to do with some of the things that were left behind, and quite frankly, some of the junk that was turned into great pieces of artwork. So again, I know the support in our community. I was proud to be the mayor when we formed the Arts Commission in 2019. I'm excited about what we have going forward. I'm excited about all the support that we're seeing here tonight. So again, thank you for coming out. Thank you for supporting the arts and the Arts Commission. And thank you for supporting downtown Joliet. Thank you. And I would announce the Vice President of the Arts Commission, Quinn Adamowski.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you to the City Center Partnership for this just tremendous opportunity for artists and for the city at large, and specifically downtown. I want to also thank the art movement, and specifically Hudson Hollister, for putting this all together tonight, and my fellow Arts Commission members, and all the elected officials that were here. And most importantly, I want to personally thank the artists who did this tremendous work on such a short time frame. It's wonderful. This room is awesome right now. I mean, so in February of 2019, we had an exhibit at the museum called Art from the Ashes. And we anticipated maybe about 100 people or so. 300 showed up. And that night we said we broke the museum. So I'm going to say tonight that we broke Juliet's. And thank you all for being out here. So I just want to kind of look at where we're at now, right? How did we get here? And we all know that back in the 90s and the early aughts, there was a tremendous opportunity for Joliet through sculptures and through paintings and murals. And unfortunately, the recession did not treat Joliet well, just like a lot of other communities. And we saw in the 2010s, sort of, everybody's sort of, I don't know what to do, what are we going to do? We don't know if we can get funding. If there is funding, is this the way we should go? And it kind of just sat there. Everything just sat quietly in Joliet. And in 2017, Gallery 7 closed, or 2019, I'm sorry, Gallery 7 closed. And I thought to myself at the time, like, all right, so we have a couple arts businesses downtown. We just lost our gallery to Lockport. Like, what's happening? We're the third largest city, maybe we're the fourth largest city at that time, and the sixth largest state. We need to have a vibrant art community. And thankfully, as the mayor referred to, we had the Burnt District artists that worked on the prison project in 2019. So that took off, and we had this wonderful opportunity at the museum that eventually went to the Illinois State Museum as an exhibit. And then in 2019, we had the Arts Commission. And the city of Joliet finally had an Arts Commission to focus on the wonderful, talented people here and the opportunities are here in the way of art. And all while, unbeknownst to most people, there was a group called the Art Movement that was quietly working as an artist collective, trying to figure out a way to make art a thing in Joliet. And the best part about all this is, in 3.5 years, one of which was a pandemic, we have multiple institutions, we have multiple organizations who are now focused on trying to make Joliet an artist destination, a vibrant community. And honestly, I think 3.5 years is good, especially when you consider it's really 2.5 years. So I just want to applaud everybody who's been part of that. And you know, ultimately, we have these assets, right? We have the assets of the Art Movement, Arts Commission. We have institutions like the CCP. We have the city of Joliet on board now. And this is our opportunity. This is our opportunity to make an imprint on the fabric of Joliet through art. And we need to do that in such a way that it's sustainable. And this is what we keep talking about on the Arts Commission. We have these opportunities, but what are we going to do? How are we going to get there? What does this look like 5 years from now, 10 years from now? And it's really exciting to be part of that. And I would say that, you know, in a lot of communities, including this one, you often hear people say in a bar or just, you know, getting coffee, you hear people say they should do something. Why are they not doing something? And the reality is, we are those people. We are doing this. We are doing this tonight. We're doing this tomorrow. We're doing this every day until somebody says you can't do it anymore. So I think that's a really important piece, is that we are the doers. And, this is, again, our opportunity to make this happen for us as a community. And I will close by saying this. And I normally don't read, but I want to get this right. While tonight is the unveiling of these sculptures, again, tremendous pieces, tonight is also the moment that we lift the veil on our partnerships and continue to break down the silos that historically have made nights like this, activities like this, extremely difficult. Breaking down silos in Joliet is a priority for everybody and anybody who's focused on the arts. And we need to continue to make it easier for the artist to hone their craft. We need to make it easier for individuals, families, and businesses to invest in Joliet. And we need to make it easier for others, whether they're here or outside of here, to invest in the artists who are here, who in a large way are the people that help move communities forward in a very impactful way. So ultimately, all of this gets easier by doing, right? Doing stuff. So I would please ask that everybody do by buying some raffle tickets with this little QR code. With that, I thank you. And it is my distinct pleasure, and I mean that in all seriousness, to introduce the chair of the Arts Commission, Erick, Deshaun, Dorris.
Thank you, Brother Quinn. I thought I had written a long speech, but now I don't feel that way anymore. But this is exciting. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you to the City of Joliet, the City Council. I saw a number of members here. Thank you, Mayor Odekirk, for establishing the Joliet Arts Commission back in 2019. Also extending thanks to the City Center Partnership and the Art Movement, Inc. of Joliet for sponsoring and acting as the fiscal agent on this collaborative project. I am deeply grateful for all of the commissioners who have contributed and showed up during a very tough year and a half to create something new, poof, right out of thin air. They did this while leading school districts that were transitioning to virtual instruction, having to close the doors of their cultural institutions, navigating COVID as a small business owner, raising their families, supporting loved ones, and then dealing with the personal and emotional toil of living during a public health crisis. Can we please take one moment to give an applause to all of the Joliet Arts Commissioners who are here today? Shortly after being named chairperson of the commission, and before the pandemic, I offered these remarks at an event that was sponsored by the National Hookup of Black Women. The arts continue to serve countless and critical roles in society. They are our collective historian, multicultural and intergenerational convener, and a keystone in each of our cultural identities and spiritual practices. The arts inherently asks each of us to more thoughtfully notice, to innovate, iterate, and to be mindful of the world around us. After almost 2 years, particularly these past 2 years, these words offer some explanation of how we survived, quarantined, taught, received instruction, connected, and shared stories since March of 2020. But maybe we need to revisit that second part. The arts inherently ask each of us to more thoughtfully notice, to innovate, iterate, and to be mindful of the world around us. What does it mean to more thoughtfully notice? What does it mean to be mindful of the world around us? Like many here, I am a child of Joliet. I went through our public school system, played trombone in our bands. I did the plays. I was in choir at school and in church. I'm also the openly gay son of a long line of local Pentecostal preachers. My favorite part of the story of Pentecost is at the end. After the blowing wind, the fire, and the speaking in tongues, everyone stops. Acts chapter 4, verse 12 says, amazed and perplexed, they asked one another, what does this mean? Now, I grew up in a Pentecostal church, so please turn to your neighbor and say, what does this mean? The arts, and specifically the artists, are the greatest and most powerful facilitators to help us answer that question. Innovation cannot happen without mindfulness. Successful economic development cannot happen without thoughtfulness. Equity and social justice cannot happen without noticing and being curious about your neighbor. So in addition to honoring the artists tonight, let us also be curious about the questions their work is asking and be thoughtful about the conversations that we are being invited to. That is the role the arts play in our neighborhoods, across our city, and in every part of our society. Congratulations to Angelica Aquilar, Kelly Bartels, Dante DiBartolo, Erick Roho Garcia, and Lynn Maloney for their amazing commissions. Thank you for challenging to stop, notice, and be curious, and to ask us to enter a much-needed conversation about our home. Have a wonderful evening.
All right. I promise to keep this short because it's amazing now standing up here and seeing this crowd here. It's beautiful. It's beautiful to see all of you here. My name's Eryn Blaser, and I'm the president of the Art Movement, Inc., but also am a part of other things. But my life revolves around the arts, and it's revolved around it since day one. And again, like Erick brought up, I am a child of Joliet. I went through all the schools like here, and I'm really proud of all the different skills and people that I have created connections with within this community. And it's through the creatives and the people that have inspired me on a daily basis that has truly made me want to be here more than ever at this point. I know many a times people might make comments, and I know sometimes there's that stigma. We are so rising above that. This is a beautiful place to be and a beautiful place to grow and learn. And each one of these sculptures, as I look, it's a visual story of each individual artist. They were given a concept, a theme, and how beautiful each and every individual piece is. And it's their voice, it's their artistic voice, and nobody can take that away from them. That's their story of what our industrial heritage and part of our history that cannot be torn down or taken away. Look at all the remnants, and that's also what has been talked about in many of these speeches is the history, what our past has been. And we don't want to forget our past. We want to push that forward and be strong and show people what Joliet is all about. And I cannot thank these artists from the artist perspective. Again, their visual storytelling and the process that they've gone through while making this. we weren't behind those closed doors. We weren't seeing the tools possibly thrown, the words of, this didn't happen this time. Going through that process of making an art piece is not always the most beautiful process in the world. There's a lot of mistakes. There's a lot of things that are thrown away, things that are those aha moments of, yes, let me write that down in my sketchbook and use that again for next time and build off of that. And how important those discoveries and being curious, right, Eric? Staying curious is really important. So I want to make sure that as we honor tonight our artists that have created these pieces, I'd like to say their names as well as the titles of their pieces. And so I don't know if we can, if the artists would like to come on up, and so that we can talk and show and share their pieces. Come on up. So in the middle over here, we have Angelica Aquilar, and her piece is called City of Stone. Right here. And then our next artist, Kelly Bartels, Joliet's Rich History. Then we have Dante DiBartolo, and it is Steel and Stone. All right, then we have Erick Roho Garcia, Strength Through Industrial Heritage. And last but not least, Steel Tapestry, created by Lynn Maloney. We would not be here this evening if it wasn't for these creators, these artists, and I'm so honored and humbled to be here before you guys, for you guys to show off your incredible pieces that tell a story of our industrial heritage. Thank you all so much, and thank you for all of the people who are here in the room this evening. It's an incredible group of people, and I can't thank you enough. Have a wonderful evening and enjoy.
Okay, this is artist number 5.
Hello.
Lynn Maloney.
That's right.
Are you a Joliet girl, Will County girl? No.
Joliet, yeah.
You are?
Yep. Grew up in Joliet.
You traveled from Chicago. You look like a Chicagoan with all that artistic look to you.
I love Chicago, but I grew up here.
That's great.
Yeah, I've been away since the early 80s, but came back recently to help take care of my parents, who are, getting on, and I'm happy to be able to be here and be around to support them.
So describe your piece for us.
It's called Steel Tapestry, and I chose to sort of pay an homage to the steel industry of the area, kind of a big part of what made Joliet. And all my male ancestors, many of them worked in the mills since the late 1880s. So I wanted to, when I go to the iron mill site, the Joliet Ironworks site, I was struck by the circular patterns I kept seeing there, like the smokestack foundations and the archways. And then I often think about their journeys here on steamships, like looking through porthole windows. So all these circles kept going around in my head, and I wanted to do a sculpture that used circles to create sort of a growing form. But then I also was thinking about my female ancestors who worked really hard, like as seamstresses and tailors, and they taught me a love of fiber arts. So when I was looking at the hoops that I was using, I was thinking of embroidery hoops. And so I treated those metal hoops sort of like an embroidery hoop, and I stretched mesh over it and then stitched with colorful wire and added beads and just textural interest to it. And then I put it all together with rivets and bolts and nuts and screws and made it grow.
This whole thing is just, we're kind of in shock. to tell you the truth, at the beauty of the art, at the turnout that we had here tonight.
It was a great turnout, yeah.
It's the beginning. It's really the beginning of something really great that's happening here in Joliet. And you mentioned something about the Irish at the steel mill. You know, we always think about the Irish, the I&M Canal, and the Irish with the railroad. And actually, it's the first time I've heard that it was the Irish, and a great deal of the Irish, working at the mill.
Yes, and I believe my ancestors came here to begin with to work on the railroad, but I know for sure that many of them worked in the mills because I found that information in the census.
Well, by the way, without the mills, there's no railroad.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah.
Marilyn, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And
thank you.
Don't leave. Don't leave Joliet. Stay here.
Okay.
Okay. Take care.
Thank you.
We're on the balcony of Juliet's second floor, and in there is what's happening. And I am with the guy who put all of this together, came up with the idea, and what a fabulous, successful night we have tonight. And there's no doubt that he would be successful because he has a one-of-a-kind business. It's called, I believe, H Data.
Yes, but I didn't put this together. We got to give the credit to the CCP and the Arts Commission for deciding that they were going to commission 5 artists to create sculptures that would symbolize the cultural and industrial heritage of our town. So that's really where it started.
Yeah, but every speaker up here said, you got this thing going.
It just takes a little bit of a push. If you bring people together around art, you find a lot of people that are interested.
Yeah, that's for sure. What's next? What do you think is next?
Well, I think that we need to keep up the energy of this event. We need to bring together all the people that care about art in Joliet. And there are a lot of them from all walks of life. One of the interesting things about tonight, I think, is that we have some people that are civic leaders for our town, and we have others that are interested in art. And they oftentimes haven't met each other. And yet the arts provide so much of the energy that make this an interesting place. The arts provide so much of the energy that make this an economically interesting and economically viable and vibrant place as well. And so I would like to make sure that the businesses of this town take advantage of that. We should have art pieces displayed at businesses. We should have artists. We should have more galleries opening. We should have people brought in from elsewhere to visit the artistic installations of this town, and tonight's really the start of that.
Well, with Juliet's back open and the Forge behind the camera right now, there's a concert going on, and 1 block down is the Rialto Theater. 2 blocks behind me is the Ironworks, and just 1 building away is the Illinois Rock and Roll Museum. Things are happening in Joliet. We've got the Strange and Unusual Gallery, Art Gallery with Christine, and we've got Sue with her Sue Regis glass art. And on the 4th floor of the Crystal Building, we have another artist, a Bolingbrook teacher. Tapley is, I believe, her last name, and she's got painting classes and all kinds of fun things in store for you. So things are happening here in Joliet. Thank you for your support. Thank you for tonight.
Oh, one more thing. We are not a trendy town, but that is actually our strength, because in the margins is where art grows. And so as often as we have an empty storefront, we have an opportunity for art. As often as we have a shuttered factory, we have an opportunity for art. As often even as we have an abandoned prison, the way ours was for a decade or so, we have an opportunity for art. And that drives the reinvigoration.
It does indeed. I was talking earlier with Roho and found out, he teaches in Chicago. He's an artist. And yesterday I was over at the Spanish Center. I don't know if you've been there recently. The entire building is murals. It's really impactful. And he is one of the artists with that as well. And he's got other murals around Joliet and more to come. And thank you once again.
Thank you
very much.
Thanks,
and
everybody.
Thank you for joining us, and tell your neighbors and friends that things are happening in Joliet. Guess who I found out here in the balcony while it's at the end, and you deserve a nice cool evening. It's cooled down from about 95 to about 82 out here right now. So I want the professionals lined up here now to give me your impression of what you saw and experienced tonight. And you're first. What's your name?
My name is Chelsea, and I saw a lot of love for Joliet. and I really appreciate it.
There was love out there. And your name?
My name's Amber. I saw beautiful work done by all the artists and came to support my good friend Angelica Aquilar. Great artist.
Yeah, I screwed up her name about 3 or 4 times when I was interviewing her, didn't I? And your name?
I'm Brittany. And yeah, I saw, a lot of support for the artists and a lot of love for the community. And just, yeah, some really awesome pieces. I'm Angelica Aquilar's partner, so I came to support her.
You are? Well, great. She's over here producing this little... She said, I want you to interview these people because they'll say nice things about me.
She would.
And your name?
My name's Katie. I'm here to support all the artists and all the color of Joliet, and came to see my good friend Angie's work today.
So they said everything according to what you told them.
Yeah, these are the other Angelicas.
She's named after Sister Mary Angelica, by the way.
Angelicas.
Yeah. Thank you all for coming tonight. And that's it from downtown Joliet, the Art Movement Incorporated and the Art Commission of Joliet. I'm Richard Fedrickson, Channel 6 and YouTube on JolietTV.com. Take care.